I'm back. It's me, Brenda, with Happy Healthy Homemade, and today we're making a fantastic summer salad. This summer salad is a crowd pleaser at potlucks and barbecues. It is loaded with flavor, it's got some great protein for your vegetarian and vegan friends, and it's really easy and stores well over a couple days in the refrigerator. This is made with ingredients that are readily available in the summer throughout North America, and I can't wait to show you. Let's get started. So the base of the salad is going to be some cucumbers, some cherry tomatoes, and some olives and chickpeas. The first thing we're gonna do is get our chickpeas started in the Instant Pot. Now what I've got here are 1 cup of dried chickpeas that I went ahead and soaked for about 4 hours. You can soak these for 4 to 6 hours, but I would be careful if you're going to soak them for longer. Make sure you're keeping them in a cool place and make sure they don't turn bad. You'll smell them if they do. So these are just rinsed and soaked chickpeas, and they're gonna go right into the Instant Pot. I made sure there's plenty of water covering them, and now I'm gonna add some flavor and aromatics. So the first thing is salt. Generous pinch of salt, and remember that the water is also gonna take some of the salt, so don't be afraid to go heavier here. We can always adjust the salt level of the salad later, even if you go a little too salty on the chickpeas, so not to worry. Some fresh cracked black pepper, some bay leaves, dried curry leaves, some ginger. Now I use dried powdered ginger because I don't have fresh ginger today, but you could always use fresh ginger too. I also like to add some whole cumin seed and a little bit of turmeric. And it's that simple. In the past, I've also added flavors like dried chilies, mustard seeds. You can season this however you want. I recommend that you go heavy on the seasoning for the chickpeas because these add a lot of flavor and body to your salad. So now lid on. Okay. We're gonna do high pressure for 20 minutes. Next, we're gonna wash our vegetables. These are baby cucumbers that are available year-round in British Columbia. They're grown in the hothouses here, which is what makes them available. Of course, you can use any cucumber you like a bigger cucumber as well. These are just available all year, and I really like this small format because it gives a lot of taste in a small vegetable. So we're gonna go ahead and wash these. At the same time, we're gonna give some small tomatoes a rinse. These are grape tomatoes, you can use cherry tomatoes. I find that the small tomatoes are more flavorful for the salad than the big tomatoes, and they give a really nice texture in every single bite. So we're gonna rinse those at the same time as well. I'm gonna go ahead and cut some vegetables. There's no set order, but I do like to cook the cucumbers first so we can get those salted and curing and releasing some of their liquid. So for these, I like to cut them into pieces that are small enough so that you can get a little bite of everything on a flimsy potluck spoon. That means there's gonna be quite a bit of chopping, but it's all gonna be worth it in the end. And just like that, we're done chopping the cucumber. I'm going to salt it. And we'll just let that release some of the juice while we cut everything else. Next, I'm going to cut the tomatoes. Very important to have a sharp knife when cutting tomatoes. There we go. Now I did see the method that Kenji shared on using 2 takeout container lids and just slicing through them. That works for cutting tomatoes in half, but for these I really like to make sure they're all bite-sized pieces, so sometimes I even cut them further. It's all a matter of getting them to about the same size. So I do like to cut them one by one. You can experiment with what shape you like the best for your tomatoes. I tend to like something with a flat edge because it's easier to pick up with utensils. So the final shape I'm going for is one slice lengthways and then a couple slices horizontally. And that's it for the tomatoes. The final thing we're gonna chop are some olives. I like to use these pitted Kalamata olives. Well, are they pitted? Ideally, these will be pitted, but I bought the wrong one, so I'm just gonna have to work through these. You probably wanna get the pitted ones at the store just to make this a little bit easier on yourself. If you don't, I've just peeled them by hand. I found that this goes a lot better if you give them a little roll and squeeze. Okay, now that all of our olives are pitted, I'm going to slice them. So normally I would give it like 3 or 4 slices horizontally, so like parallel to, I guess what would be the equator if you put the pointy side up. But because I've squished some of them, I'm just going to do more of a rough chop instead. So here's a more intact one for demonstration. Normally I would just slice it like that, kind of like an old school pizza olive. And that's it. It's been 10 minutes and our beans are now done. Now I'm going to strain the beans right into the salad. You can also take the beans and put them in a separate container, let them cool overnight, and then put them in the salad. That might be better because they're a little warm, but that's okay for now. We can also just mix them in today. The curry leaves are pretty soft at this point, so it's okay if a couple of them get in there, but I would definitely make sure to remove the bay leaves. Now I'm gonna add some olive oil. A nice, generous portion. Adds a lot of flavor. I'm gonna stir it up. I love that the turmeric turns the chickpeas a beautiful golden color and it adds such a nice contrast to this salad. I'm gonna add some more black pepper. And I also like to add some sumac. This gives it a slight tart, kind of berry-y flavor. In the past, I've also added fresh lemon, fresh herbs from the garden. If you want to add more protein, you could add something like feta cheese. Season it to your liking. To transport it, all you'll need is some Tupperware. And this will actually store for several days in the refrigerator. Now, if you're going to take this to an outdoor event like a barbecue or potluck and it sits outside for a number of hours, I wouldn't eat it after that point because the chickpeas are very sensitive to heat and they could go bad. So just be very careful with food safety and just make sure these are refrigerated until it's ready to serve. Now I'm gonna give it a little taste. I'm gonna get one of everything onto a spoon. Wow, that is so flavorful. It is a journey from the time it hits your tongue when you get hit with that briny flavor from the olive to then the cucumber and tomato experience, which is so fresh, a little bit sweet, a little bit crunchy, and a different texture. And then finally it finishes with that starchy chickpea and those earthy flavors that we seasoned it with. This is so delicious. It's going to be a crowd pleaser at your next barbecue or potluck, and I hope you get to make it at home. What's your favorite summer salad? I'd love to know in the comments below. For more content like this, make sure you ring the bell, smash the like button, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy! Next, we're going to... Hi, Boo Boo. Okay, go.